Maine's lobster industry is still fighting regulations from the federal government.
After a judge put a hold on those regulations, Maine's top House Republican said fishermen have limited time right now to take action. And he brought that message to Washington today. Where meanwhile, as David Guilford reports, there are some Maine lobsters, after all, that the Biden administration deems worthy of catching.
We're on borrowed time right now, and it's not a good place to be.
Incoming State House Minority Leader and lobsterman Billy Bob Falkingham in Washington this week, meeting with Senator Susan Collins to talk next steps in the fight against looming regulations.
I figured the time for angry letters and shaking fist was over and it was time for real action.
This is not going to be easy because, unfortunately, the courts so far have upheld NOAA's onerous and unfair regulations.
It's still unclear what real action might look like. The main thorn in the side of lobstermen is NOAA, the federal agency declaring Maine lobster traps pose a risk to endangered right whales and imposing limits on those traps in lines. But a federal judge has put off those rules for 2 years while the two sides work through them, hence borrowed time.
If those are the decisions of the judge and he's just following the law, then we need to have some legislation that's going to help us and change, what's wrong, make what's wrong right again.
Collins said she has $10 million proposed in the next appropriations bill aimed at lobster gear research and development, though she and her colleagues say new gear doesn't solve a problem that doesn't exist.
The problem with this so far is that we are being penalized. In fact, they try to put us out of business based upon little or no evidence, actually no evidence.
Meanwhile, as fishermen fight to keep their catch on menus across America, the White House, under which NOAA operates, is preparing to host a state dinner tomorrow night with France's first family. The menu was released Wednesday afternoon. The main course, butter-poached Maine lobster.
200 Maine lobsters on their way to the White House for a state dinner for the president of France. At least the president of the United States knows a good lobster when he sees one. And I think that, underlines how ridiculous this whole thing is.
David Guilford, News Center, Maine.